Welcome to my first video of my new YouTube channel, Payload Academy. Here I will be putting the videos about cybersecurity and different kind of attacks and prevention mechanisms of cybersecurity world. The first video will be about the o.mg cable from Hack5. A couple of years ago, I bought this cable and finally I got some time to record a video about it and test the cable and see how it works. I had to upgrade the firmware version to version 3 to support the Ducky script version 3. And let me show you what does this cable do in the cybersecurity world. So basically, this cable looks like the normal USB cable. It actually acts as a normal USB cable in terms of it can charge your phone, you can connect the USB keyboard to it if you want, and it will pass the data. There are different kind of cables, lighting cables, micro USB, USB-C, and there's an elite version, USB-C to C, white woven. For example, this one, it looks like the new iPhone cable, right? But instead of just being the simple cable to charge your phone, this actually is a hacking tool. You can actually use it for the cybersecurity testing and different kind of cybersecurity attacks. And the way this works is that in this little tiny connector here, or even on this one, right, on this big one, there is a computer in it. It has the web server and it has the Wi-Fi. You can actually connect to the cable and then do anything you want that this cable can do. And let's see what this cable can do. The basic version is all this, and then there's an elite version. Now let's go through each of the line. Keystroke injection. This is sending the keystroke like you would type on a keyboard, but it will do way faster. The basic version does 120 keys per second, and the elite version does more than 800 keys per second. So basically it will type anything you want on a computer way faster than any human being. It has self-destruction. So for example, once it hacks the computer, it can self-destruct and it will continue working as a normal cable, normal data cable, USB cable. And even if you check what's going on inside, you will not be able to see what payload was there because it was self-destructed. Now, geofencing is really something really cool. This is monitoring the SSIDs around, and based on availability of the SSID or not, it can make a decision, run the payload, destruct itself, or not run payload at all. For example, if you're doing the penetration testing and you don't want this cable to work outside the building of your client, you can put the SSID as the requirements that if this SSID is not available around, do not run any of the payload. That way, if someone accidentally brings this cable from your client's office to somewhere else and they plug to the computer, the payload will not be deployed. And Wi-Fi trigger is that something you can just trigger the payload by just sending one beacon. Now, the basic version has 8 slots. There's 7 slots, and the 8th one is the bootstrap, means it can run the payload when it boots. The elite version has way more payloads, and of course, together with the keystroke injection, you have the mouse injection. Now, the elite version also has the encrypted network C2. This is when elite version of the cable connects to the Wi-Fi, connects to the network C2 of Hack5, and then you, through that network, can manage the elite cable from anywhere in the world. Extended Wi-Fi range means that this elite version has reachability of the Wi-Fi way longer. I think it's up to 2 kilometers or something like that. And stealth optimized power draw is taking less power than it should be. Now, this cable is already connected to this computer. Now let's connect to this cable through the Wi-Fi and see if we can run anything inside. So here on my Mac, I'm gonna drop down the menu. Now let's see o.mg. By default, the password is 1234567 And now let's get the IP address. So this is the IP address of the cable. The cable has the IP address, but that's a fact. It has the IP address. And this is the GUI. Now this will support Ducky script 3 because I upgraded it using the Python script. The reason I did the Python script is because I don't have this program. I have the old version. The new version, this one, from the website. They support the web-based flash application. So you just go on a website and you flash the cable, which you plug through this programmer, of course. But I have the old programmer, so I had to use a Python script, and I upgraded. If you go into settings, you see that you can rename SID as you want. You can change the IP address, you can set the channel, you can set the MAC address, device name, and on the USB, you can actually change the vendor IDs and the vendor names. So if your client that you're testing penetration testing, for example, you know they have the Logitech keyboards, for example, and mouse. You can set the Logitech here as a name, product as a keyboard, for example, put the relevant IDs, and when they plug this cable, or when you plug this cable and leave it there, it will appear as a Logitech keyboard, so it will be hard to detect that it's a malicious cable, right? And then you have the other settings here, self-destruct, full, partial, reboot, and different kind of things. Now, in the file menu, you have payloads. As I said, 8 payload on the basic version, 7 here in slots, and the last one is here as a boot script. So the boot script is when you plug the cable, if run on boot is enabled, it will run the whatever code you have here. Now, I have prepared one of the script to list the Wi-Fi SSIDs and the passwords from the computer. Let's try that. Paste it here. Now, let's see what it will do. This one, once I run this, it will set the default delay 500 milliseconds between actions. And this is this window. Then this string is to type the CMD, this one. Then this is to open the CMD as an administrator. So if I click Ctrl-Shift-Enter, this is where I get. And then the Alt-Y means clicking Alt and then Y. So basically pressing yes. And then typing this command. Now this is this string that lists the saved SSIDs and passwords from the Windows computer. Now let's see how it works. I'm going to click Run and Build, and let's see what's going to happen, okay? 1, 2, 3. Now let's see what do we have here. As you can see, it listed the SSID, saved SSID from the computer, and then it also listed the password. And this is not the only thing you can do with it. You can actually upload this Wi-Fi password somewhere else. You can do anything you want, anything that the human can do with the keyboards and mouse, and it will be 10 times or 20 times faster because, as I said, the elite version can inject up to 800 keystrokes per second, 890 keys per second. And the basic version can inject 120 keys per second. That's pretty fast. So I'm going to upload this video into a playlist of the o.mg collections, and then I'm going to be uploading different kind of payloads for the o.mg cables into the same playlist.